Welcome back, guys and gals. JJ here once again from schooltrade.com. Today's trading psychology question of the day. Great question. He says, JJ, I've been learning to trade for a few years now, and one of my biggest problems is that I do a lot of prep work before the day begins, to the point where I'm a little bit too aggressive with my trading right out the gate each morning, and I often lose money because of it. He says, I'm starting to think that it's better for me just to wake up and trade what I see rather than doing a lot of or many hours of work beforehand. Do you have any advice? Boy, one of the best questions I've had, and thanks so much for sending that question in. Here's another question for you. Are you so prepared for each day that you expect yourself to win? Is that causing you to focus on the profit rather than focusing on the process, which we've talked about in previous lessons? Are you over preparing because you're actually scared of the fact that you don't have any control over what the markets actually do? Furthermore, is it possible that with all of your preparation you do before the opening bell, that you find yourself in a position where you almost feel entitled to make money that day? And because of that, if you don't make money, does it all come crashing down when you lose money? Boy, oh boy, this hits really close to home. I definitely know this feeling. I am pretty much the same exact way. So great question. Now, I remember learning to trade many years ago. And like a lot of traders, I would get up a few hours before the opening bell. I would do a ton of prep work and have a great plan of exactly what I was going to do that day. And then you know how this story ends, right? The opening bell rings and the market reacts completely differently than how I had predicted, right? And of course, because of that, I didn't have a plan in place. I took a foolish trade right out the gate because I thought I was prepared for everything, but in reality, I didn't have really clue what I was looking for. You know, trading is one of the most challenging jobs because we're forced to operate in conditions that we really can't control, right? And that's tough on our emotions. You know, the markets don't care who we are. The markets don't care about the amount of time we've invested before we start, how much money we have in our account. The markets don't care about that fancy diploma on the wall or how much success or failure we've had in other aspects of our lives. The markets don't know us, right? But the markets determine quickly how most of us feel when we're trading. We feel like the king of the world when we're winning, and we feel worthless, right, when we're losing. You know, I discovered a lot about myself in the first few years of my trading career. For example, I discovered that I was basically obsessed with having control over the results of my trading. You know, maybe you're like me. You know, I was a good student in school. I got good grades. I had plenty of friends. I had a good job. Life was pretty simple. You know, for me, life was basic. Invest the time, put some hard work in, and you'll be successful on the other way, right? So for me, it was always 2 + 2 is 4, right? Invest the time, do it right, and you'll be successful, right? It took me a long time to understand, right, that when I started trading, all of a sudden 2 + 2 didn't always equal 4, and it was painful. And I know a lot of my clients have experienced the same thing. You know, you've been successful in other careers or other aspects of trading, right? You come to trade futures on real active, you know, liquid markets, and all of a sudden things are a lot more painful, right? It took me a long time to understand that no matter how hard I worked, I could never be able to control what the markets do each day. The only thing I could really control were my own actions. You know, as a human being, I thrived on controlling my surroundings. But as a trader, I had to understand the markets don't really work like that. And you know, a wise trader once told me, I'll never forget this. He said, you need to learn to play the game, or you're going to get played by the game, right? You're not going to change the game, right? The game's been going on a lot longer than we've been here, and they're going to keep going. It's going to keep going on a lot longer after we're gone, right? So how do we avoid that obsessive attempt to control the markets? Right? How do we avoid that feeling of entitlement when we do invest all that time? You know, how do we invest the time in our trading without getting overconfident? You know, my best advice would be focus on preparing for specific situations rather than preparing for everything. You know, I would recommend you master 3 to 5 specific trading situations. Okay, so you don't need to learn everything about the markets. You don't need to prep for hours before you trade. You can if you want to, by the way, but you just need to know exactly what you're looking for. And when it shows up on the chart, you can take advantage of that situation with confidence. Think of it like playing baseball, right? I think everyone knows the game of baseball, no matter where you are on the planet. If you're at the plate, and the pitcher, right, you're at the plate, you get the bat in your hand, right? The pitcher is down the count, 3 balls to no strikes, right? 4 balls, you get a walk, right? So you're way up in the count. The pitcher, right, is underwater in the count, 3 balls to 0 strikes. As a hitter, you know you're going to get a great pitch to swing at, so you're ready to swing. And a good hitting coach will make sure you're prepared to swing the next pitch because that specific situation is something you need to be mentally and physically prepared for. Now, apply to the markets, right? Here and now in the markets, in trading, you see a strong move higher, right? A nice 2-legged pullback, a beautiful naked reversal line. We saw one great this week in the S&P, right? Then we see seller failure at the test of the moving average and a beautiful, fat, juicy signal candle to trigger the trade in long. That's the type of detail I'm talking about here. So let's find 3 to 5, and I use the quotes, right? Specific situations that happen so often, right? They happen like clockwork every week. So if you're like me, right, and you want to obsess about something, obsess about that, right? Not obsess about knowing everything else, okay? It's one of the great things about being a trader. To be successful, right, you don't need to be a jack of all trades. You can literally be a master of only a few select situations. Okay, so here's the question. What's your number one trade setup? And I tell this to all of my clients, and we talk about this many, many times during the week in our trade room. So here's an exercise for you. Close your eyes. Yeah, you, close your eyes and picture your number one trade setup. You know what I mean, that trade setup that you can see with your eyes closed, and when it happens, when you see it in the chart, it almost always makes you money. Close your eyes. Can you see it? Right? Can you see the chart structure? Can you see the pattern? Right? Can you see the specific entry trigger? Now go further. Where's your stop going to be? Where's your profit target? Now get into the trade, right? Manage the trade properly. Visualize this specific situation. Close your eyes. Can you see it? Now, successful traders, they can see these vividly. In fact, I know for me, I have these in my dreams every evening, right? Successful traders can rattle off handfuls of these specific situations because they have been watching real-time charts for a long period of time. Now, if you can't close your eyes and picture that specific trading situation, then you have some homework to do. If you're someone who tries to control the situation by investing hundreds of hours in prep work, knowing all the different indicators, all the different markets, you're creating an unrealistic situation for yourself. Do you really think you're going to learn everything about these markets? You know, people die after spending 50 years of their life trying to learn everything. Do you really think you need to learn everything about the markets? You don't. Just like a baseball player doesn't swing at everything, traders have to know exactly what they're looking for. Don't obsess about everything. Focus on those specific situations because that is what you can control. Go back and study the specific opportunities itself. Study the 30 minutes before the pattern triggers, right? Study the exact time of the entry and study the next 30 minutes afterwards. Right? The best traders in the world have a mind that knows these 3 to 5, and that's all it takes, right? If you've got 3 situations that you know at the back of your hand, you can close your eyes and see them, right? You're going to be a very, very successful trader, right? And when they see them on their charts, they respond with confidence. Because in all reality, that's all we can control. The rest is up to the markets. Now, rookie traders, right, we have some work to do. We need to either work with someone who has experience and can show them how to find these opportunities, right? Like working with me, right? I'm going to give you some very clear scenarios, right? Or if you're not working with someone like me, you need to get a comfortable chair, right? Put on a big cup of coffee. I'm half joking with you, right? But you need to watch live, real-time price action as much as possible, right? Until you find those trading opportunities yourself. Right? As I tell all my new traders out there, when you're working by yourself, right? And I'm a self-taught trader. When you learn on your own, you've got to literally you got to turn over as many rocks as you can and see what's underneath them, and then slowly you'll start to put this together. Okay? It took me over 3 years to learn that lesson. And honestly, I'm still mastering, right, those new trading opportunities every day, and so will you, right? You'll never be done. That's kind of the nice thing. It's, not nice when you begin, but When you're in my position, right, in my career, it's exciting every day. Every day there's a new opportunity to make money that I hadn't learned before. Remember, we all want to control our trading, and many of us do obsessive amounts of prep work in an attempt to impose that control over the price action on our charts. But the markets don't operate like that, so we have to focus on what we can control. Your job as a trader is to master 3 to 5 specific trading opportunities, specific scenarios. You should be able to easily describe every detail about them. And if you can't, you have some homework, right? And you have to go and find them. And if you're like me, and you love to go head first, right? If you're like me, I'm kind of a cut twice, measure once type of guy, right? If you're the same way, I definitely can sympathize with you. So if you want to obsess about something, right? Obsess about the finding, studying, and mastering, right? Those specific trading opportunities. Obsess about learning to anticipate them before they happen, how to structure the trade properly to manage risk, how to manage the situation properly, right? And where to take the most effective profit targets and stop losses on that trade. Now, here's the added benefit. How about some patience, right? How about some confidence and some patience? I'll bet you didn't know that once, or maybe you do know, once you have your first specific situation defined, right? Once you can close your eyes and you know exactly what that specific scenario looks like, then you know you're going to see those a few times every week, right? And you can rely on those trades for your profits each week. And when you find your second specific situation, well, guess what? You're just adding to your income now, so on and so forth, right? Every one of those specific situations that you master, right, is just another promotion in your job as a trader. And one added benefit of all of this is that as you master more of these exact scenarios, you'll find yourself with a higher level of patience, more confidence, and trading becomes a whole lot easier on our emotions. So rather than trying to be great at everything, focus on learning those 3 to 5 specific scenarios so you can be patient waiting for them, have confidence to take them when you see them up in your chart, and you're going to have a great career because of it. Boy, what a great topic in today's psychology lesson. I hope you found a ton of value, and I hope you'll use this, right, to start getting that leg up on the markets as well. And guys, I would love to hear from you about additional topics you're struggling with as traders. Do me a favor, drop me a comment below this video with any topics you'd like to see me cover in my next psychology video. Make sure to give me a thumbs up if you found some value. Make sure to share it with a friend who can also benefit from this information as well. It doesn't matter what markets we trade or the strategies we use. Even the best traders battle with their emotions when there's money on the line. And don't forget, come out and join me every morning in my trade room, 8 o'clock Eastern time, with all of our advanced members. I get a great free trial on the home page of the website here at schooloftrade.com. I'll see you guys every evening on my nightly newsletter at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And of course, don't forget, right, I'll see you next time on our next psychology lesson. My name is Joseph. Thanks for being here. Be well out there. Be nice to each other, will you? Keep sending me feedback on this, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.